Greetings, everybody. I want to welcome you to the first teaching inside High Level Healer Modality version. Today, we're going to be talking about somatics and the intelligence of the body and how to access that information. My name is Phoenix Rose. I am a vibrational healer and transformational leader, and I love working with healers on the healer's journey to help them become more embodied in their modalities, in their teachings, and inevitably to step forward as transformational leaders in the healing space. It is my passion, my great love. I've worked with healers for a long time, and I'm so excited for you to be here. All right, we're going to get started. I'm going to do a little opening invocation before we drop into the intelligence of the body. So wherever you're at, I want you to take a moment to close your eyes and begin to take some breaths into the center of your heart and out, inviting your energy to arrive to the present moment. Taking a moment to scan your body and just see what information there is for you inside of yourself. Somatic means energy in the body, feeling the energy in the body. So feel the energy in your body. Does it feel open and alive, stuck, hurting, light, dark, sensational, or still? And keep focusing on your breath and feeling into yourself. And I'm just going to play a little bit of this Mayan instrument while you continue to drop in, to breathe, to feel and attune with your system. Amazing. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes, come back to the here and now. This here and now, because that was here and now too. Great. And today we're going to be dropping into the intelligence of the body, learning to listen for truth, for guidance and knowing through the felt sense. Intuition is not something outside of ourselves. It's a full body transmission and connecting to the energy that is alive and learning to read and translate it through presence. It's not, right? It can feel like this mystical, magical experience, and it is, but it's also deep presence. And I love somatic psychotherapy because of the aspect of connecting energy to the body. You know, traditional talk therapy is great, can be super heady, it can take a long time to achieve results. People get stuck and looped in their story. But for the past 10 years, I've been studying mind, energy, body transformation, right? Taking that energy, transforming it through the body. And this type of approach for me is more effective. It works faster. It has more integration and results when we connect energy through the body. So I'm a mystic, I'm a seer, I love energy, a vibrational healer, right? We're all entirely composed of energy. Therefore, all of our diseases are energetic in nature and can be treated with energy. It's just about learning how to touch them, to connect with them, to tune in, to create that integration and restoration that we're all longing for inside of our hurt systems. Great. The body is a vessel for truth. It is this wild, insane, magical intelligence. It speaks through subtle cues, through tension, through openness, through pulsing, through temperature, right? And intuition, when connected to somatics, is a language of sensation, right? Learning to tune in and translate sensation. Right? The nervous system must feel regulated and safe in order for us to accurately receive information. This is why resourcing is hugely important for you on the healer's journey. If you aren't resourced and regulated in your system, you're going to be less effective because the information you're receiving is going to be less accurate. Let's talk about information. Information is the process of your form coming into my form, your energy coming into my energy. And it can only do so to the degree that my energy is available to receive you, meaning to the degree of the restoration in my own energy system. So if your form is coming into my form and it's hitting my trauma, my perception of you is going to be skewed based on that place inside of me where my own energy is not integrated and restored. So on the healer's journey, it's really important that we're doing our own inner work, our own inner restoration, our own return to flow through trauma healing, somatic therapy, whatever modalities you're using, because that process of clearing and opening your own system enables you to be more informed about the other. And if you're an intuitive on the path and you're finding that your information doesn't feel totally accurate, it's not totally landing for your clients, your friends, your family, probably it's pointing to the fact that there's something inside of your system that's inhibiting their form from landing inside of you. So information, your form comes into my form, and I'm able to see and sense accurately based on the degree to which I can receive your form in my form. Okay, I want to talk about the nervous system for a moment because this is a very important part of this somatic practice and just healing in general. So no matter what state of the healer's journey you're on, or whatever state of nervous system regulation or dysregulation you're in, right, all of it is simply information that we get to be with and process through. I want to talk about healing just as a concept. So our natural state is moving particles of energy. Our system is alive. It's in motion. This is emergent life. It's moving. And when we have trauma, which all of us do, we're incarnating into a collective trauma field that is very traumatizing because of the amount of trauma that's here right now on the planet. Every single one of us is incarnating into a trauma field and probably getting more trauma along the way because of it. Right? So trauma in the system that is moving acts like a boulder in the river, right? We have all these rocks or places where the energy is bound in the past. Trauma or karma is energy that's trapped in time at a place where a wound or an experience happened that was too overwhelming for you to process in the moment. So it gets frozen in time. And then that river, that flow, becomes impeded. And here's where we begin to have symptoms and illnesses, and our perception is skewed as intuitives, right? So healing is not about getting rid of anything or clearing anything out per se, not in the removing sort of context of the word clearing. It's about being able to connect so deeply and precisely to those boulders, to that trauma in the system, that it begins to thaw, to melt, and return to flow, right? So healing is the restoration of the energy body's original movement, a return to flow, a return to the river, right? We're not getting rid of anything. That's actually the very energy that keeps trauma stuck in the system. I don't want you here. Get out right now. Why are you still here? Right? But healing is the integration, the return to movement inside the energy body. So you can tune into your own system right now, again, closing your eyes and feeling into which part of your system, your body, your energy is moving, and which parts are not. And see if you can get a sense of that movement or non-movement inside of you right now. This is a great way to know where to go inside of your system to begin this somatic work. It's what you're going to be looking for in your clients as well. Where can you see movement? And where is the energy frozen, stuck, or dark? Right? These are all the ways to see that. So feeling into that, where is my body moving? And where is it not? And then when you're ready, you can open your eyes. Maybe you take a little note about that for deeper exploration later. But also, you can simply do this practice of tuning in to where you're moving and not, and use that as your gateway to explore. If you find a spot that's not moving, you go there, you tune in, you see what's needed, right? And we're going to do some of that today as we journey. Great, the nervous system. We ideally, right, want to experience ventral vagal, regulated nervous system, right? Again, this is where we're resourced, we're regulated, our capacity to navigate life is greater. It doesn't mean life gets easier, it just means our capacity to move through it is bigger. And right, ventral vagal. Here we have resource regulation. This is usually when your energy feels open, flowing, vibrant, connected. Your intuition is on point. Opportunities are happening all around you. It feels like magic and synchronicity. Right? Divine movement. Right? This is that return to flow. And the other nervous system states, we have sympathetic dysregulation. So the sympathetic part of the nervous system, again, this is a multi-million-year-old intelligence inside of ourselves, very wise, been here for a long time, doing its thing. Sympathetic is the part of your nervous system that says, I'm in danger, I need to do something now, right now. Think of a lion chasing you in prehistoric ages, or a saber-toothed tiger in prehistoric times. You have to figure out how to survive fast, because that thing is coming for you. So when you're in sympathetic dysregulation, you're trying to figure out how to survive right now. And what happens in this state is your system gets stuck on, meaning it's moving really fast. Your thoughts are looping. They're sensing for danger. There's danger here, there's danger here. But you might get stuck in a track that is repeating over and over and over again. You've probably had that when ending a relationship or something, where you're kind of in that loop of mental process. Or maybe you witness it in your clients or friends, right? I have to do something right now. It's fast. Everything is sped up. The adrenaline is coursing. And the system is stuck on, right? And you can think and feel into when the system is stuck on for a really long time, how that might create damage to the energy body. This was me for most of my life until I started doing this somatic therapy and trauma healing more deeply. I was stuck on. And I actually created Graves' disease in my system. Graves' disease is an autoimmune hyperthyroidism, and it's basically where my body is producing too much hormones, so it's stuck in right? Right. My energy was stuck on, and then this disease that correlated presented in my system, and I've had to spend a lot of time creating resource and regulation to heal the symptoms of being stuck on. So does this feel like you? Are you in sympathetic arousal? It just is more stressful. Cortisol is coursing through your veins and things are moving fast, but there's a high degree of dysregulation. For me, I would actually move fast, walk fast. I'd be a quarter mile in front of all my friends and my voice might speed up like this and that, right? It was just so much faster. Feel into that in your system. Can you feel sympathetic arousal? I'm in danger. I need to do something right now. Great. And then we have dorsal vagal as a dysregulated state. Dorsal vagal is the part of the nervous system that says, I can't do anything. It's hopeless. This is the part of the nervous system And they say when a bear is attacking you, they tell you to pretend to be dead. This is what the nervous system does. It pretends to be asleep or dead because it's so overwhelmed that it literally can't do anything else. The dysregulation is so high that no action can be taken. I can't do anything. So the system shuts down, it goes to sleep. You might have experienced this in conflict. You're having an argument or a conversation with a beloved, and you get so tired. This is a sign that there's a high degree of overwhelm in your system, indicating that you are in dorsal vagal shutdown. I had a relationship. I was in sympathetic, he was in dorsal vagal. We never accomplished anything in our conversations because the amount of dysregulation was so high. If somebody's in dorsal vagal, this is kind of the lowest rung on the ladder of nervous system dysregulation, meaning this is the most dysregulated state. So this is the state you need to address first before doing anything else. Great. So we have sympathetic arousal, dorsal vagal shutdown. And then the next nervous system state is freeze. And a lot of people associate freeze with dorsal vagal, but it's not totally true. Freeze is a combination of the sympathetic nervous system dysregulation and dorsal vagal. So the system is saying, I have to do something now, while simultaneously saying, I can't do anything. Have to do something, can't do anything. And it's in this kind of limbo of, you might have felt this. I feel this state when contemplating the collective environmental issues. I know that I need to do something, but it's so overwhelming. I have no idea where to begin, right? It's that energy. So I want you to tune into these three states and feel into which one your system feels like it goes to the most when activated, when stressed. Sympathetic, we're going to have fight, flight. I'm going to fight. I'm going to run, right? That's that movement. Yeah. Which one do you feel like you're in? Right? When we're dysregulated, we're going to overthink, we're going to freeze, we're going to experience confusion. Our abilities aren't going to be as profound. We're not as embodied because there's literally something in the way of regulation in our system. And when we're regulated, we're going to have clarity, knowing, and alignment. Right? So you don't necessarily need to try to be intuitive. You just need to listen differently. I like to teach the process of we're cultivating a higher degree of presence and attunement, and the information is just presenting, and we're able to translate it skillfully. That's right. This is the mystical part. It's an easy process, but if we have a lot of trauma in our system, it becomes complex. Right. Okay, great. Now we're going to do a little practice. Just tune in somatically. I want you to find a spot to sit, and you're going to close your eyes, get comfortable. I recommend sitting up because, again, if we lay down, we might disconnect or fall asleep, and I want you to stay present. The whole idea of this type of somatic healing is a different degree of presence and attunement. So you get to practice that through your own system. Great. All right. I'm just going to guide you through a body scan. And as I guide you through this body scan, I want you to tune in for sensation. Similar to that moving and non-moving, you're going to tune to a more subtle degree of sensation. Are you able to feel pulsing, tingling, tightness, movement? Again, where do you feel the most alive? Where is your system a yes? Where is it a no? Where is it open? Where is it closed? And I want you to track your system. So with your eyes closed, we're going to start by feeling your feet. Just tuning into your feet, from your toes all the way to your heel. And what information can you sense here? What are the sensations? I know for me, for a long time, my feet were numb. There was no sensation. I couldn't feel my body from my hips down. Maybe that's you. Can you feel your feet? And from there, you're going to move your awareness into your calves and your shins, tuning in for subtle sensation. What information is there here for me? What are the sensations in my body informing me of? And letting your awareness move like honey through your body, you're going to move into your knees, feeling into the knees. I had a knee injury when I was 18, and I could feel the right side of my body, but not the left side for years. And until I got my energy to inhabit the left side of my body, I had knee pain. But as soon as I landed on both sides energetically, that pain went away. Right? So what are your knees telling you? Do they feel even and balanced, open equally? Are there different sensations from right to left? Now moving into your thighs, your quads and your hamstrings, feeling in for a subtle sensation here. What information is my body transmitting to me? Again, feeling for tingling, movement, stuckness, imbalance, openness, darkness. Yes, no. Flow. Now bringing your awareness into your pelvis and your low back. Tuning in here. This is a place where I typically have a lot going on, where my flow is interrupted. So tuning in. This is a place for a lot of people with sexual and relational trauma, right? So if you have clients, this might be a hot spot for exploration. What are you noticing in your own system? Right? And I refer to intuition as into me I see. How deeply am I able to perceive myself? Because that's going to translate to how deeply I can perceive outside of myself. Can I feel the sensations in my body? And depending on your childhood trauma, you might feel others more easily than yourself. Sometimes we go out of ourselves to survive. Or you might feel yourself more deeply than you feel others. So tuning in, which one do you feel like you are? Or can you feel self and other in good balance? I've trained myself to be able to do that. But I was better at feeling others, hypervigilance. So yeah, feeling into the pelvis, low back, and then moving into the belly, mid back. What are the sensations here? What arises when you ask your body, what do you want me to know today? Where does it take you? What does it show you? What do you want me to know today? Now moving into your chest and your upper back and shoulder region, feeling for sensations in this place. Where's the movement? Where's the non-movement? I tend to feel right and left very differently. Right now, my right shoulder is more frozen and stuck. I've been working on this layer for a couple weeks. What's happening in your body? What does my body want me to know? Now moving into your arms, from your shoulders all the way down to your fingertips. What are you aware of here, sensation-wise? Can you feel energy flowing from your heart to your fingertips, or does it get stuck? Right? The arms and the hands are extensions of the heart energy. And the idea here is to see and sense what is, not to try and change the state. If you notice there's a lack of movement somewhere or you have pain, we're not trying to go in and strong arm it to be in a different state. We're simply presencing what is right now. So when we try and force something to change, it's an aggressive act, right? It can be beneficial sometimes when we're wanting to take action, but really the body is going to restore through listening, connecting, and welcoming it as it is. This is a shift I had to make in healing. I'm good at firing energy into a system and having a lot of force, but I've learned to soften, to allow whatever is inherently there to be there. And that act enables it to transform. So if you notice that you were trying to change a state or you wanted to be out of this state into another one, I want you to be aware of that energy. Great. Moving your awareness into your throat, neck, feeling into that space. Graves' disease is in the thyroid, so I've had a ton of presencing to do here in my neck in the last years. So what's going on inside yours? Again, what are the sensations? Open, closed, numb, right? If you can't feel anything, that's information that's telling you that there's something here. It's numb. You can't feel it, it's numb. And there's something to explore, right? There's a lot of, usually where numbness is present, there's a high degree of overwhelm. It's too much for you, which is why it's numb or frozen. Feeling the sensation is too much. Okay, so we want to be aware. We don't want to force into numbness, but we want to be aware that it's there. I can't feel any sensation. And if you can't feel this energy at all, right, that is information. It's showing you there's numbness in your system. There's a reason why you're not feeling. Something was too much at some point in time, so you shut it down. And through this gentle exploration and attuning, we can begin to open up the senses to more feeling. Now moving your awareness into your face, the back of your head, your ears, your mouth. Just kind of filling your whole head with presence. What information is there here for you? Amazing. Now that we've done that full body scan, I want you to return to a place that felt the most frozen, stuck, unmoving, and bring your awareness softly there. I want you to soften your awareness around it. There's probably a shape or a form of that place that's not moving. Softly touch it and notice what happens when you do that, when you bring some connection and awareness and curiosity. Does it begin to move? Does it stay locked up tight? Maybe it's not ready to budge. Simply noticing what happens when you connect. And then as you're connecting there, I want you to ask this part, what type of presence do you need from me right now? And see how it responds. Does it want you to go straight to the center of the pain, to be soft, to give it some space? Asking this part, what kind of presence and attunement do you need from me right now? And adjusting how you're connecting to it based on the information it gives you. And notice what happens when you do that. When I adjust or I attune my connection, what happens in my body? All right. Beginning to find a way to complete this process with your body. Thanking it for the information. Getting a general sense of your subtle ability to feel inside yourself without judgment, just simply noticing where you're at today. Could I feel any of that? Could I not? You kind of rated yourself on a scale of 0 to 10, 10 being high sensing, 0 being no sensing. Where do you feel like you are on that spectrum today? And then when you're ready, you can open your eyes. I'm teaching you these practices because I'm helping strengthen your sensing body to do deeper transformational work. There's a lot of healers, body workers, therapists that they know their protocol. They know the steps that they're supposed to take to give a healing or a session to someone. And they do that. They do that protocol very well, or that methodology, but they're lacking in connection. You might have gone to, if you think of all the body workers you've seen, some that are just getting into your system and you feel like they're really making progress because they're reading you and they're going to the places where the pain are. And you might have been to those body workers where, okay, my body enjoyed that, but I didn't feel really connected to. It was kind of flat in comparison, right? The type of healer that I like to foster, that I like to create, and I like to train is so deeply attuned and precise that transformation is inevitable because somebody's feeling very deeply connected to you. So this practice of starting within is going to enable you to connect into another system with attunement. And when we have trauma, right, trauma is something that occurred in time that was too overwhelming for me to process on my own in the environment I was in with the skills I currently had. So I froze it in time. And over time, that rock in the river begins to create symptoms: physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, right? And what happens when we have a skilled practitioner who's attuned and they can meet us in that pain inside ourselves, and we're no longer alone in the pain, it begins to thaw and more becomes available and life becomes emergent again. Healing is emergence, life happening right now. Trauma is energy stuck in time, it's frozen in time, right? And this process of somatic feeling you, feeling me that I teach, right, is about not only guiding somebody to feel their own body, but going and feeling it with them. Because when they're no longer alone in the pain, it begins to transform. It's too overwhelming for them to process on their own. A lot of the pain that was too overwhelming that's still stuck in our system needs a skillful relationship in order to open. So you are becoming the skillful relator. You are, precision is love, meaning the more precise I can get in my seeing and sensing, the more love I am offering to a human. It's kind of the difference between, hey, it's cleaning week at your house and you've cleaned the floors and wiped the counters, but precision is pulling out the fridge and the washer and dryer and cleaning behind it, right? It's getting so attuned to the details that they can't help but feel connected to, seen, and loved. And this is not magic, although it can feel like magic because most people have not been connected to in this way. I wasn't until a couple years ago. People would say, I'm feeling you, and they might offer empathy. But my whole life, I was missing attunement and precision. And now that I have it, it has become my greatest love to teach and transmit because our world needs so much more of it in order to heal. When people are blundering about and they're not deeply connecting, right, the trauma stays stuck because we're not actually being touched and felt in our pain. But when somebody can come in with attunement and they can reflect and feel our pain with us and reflect it accurately back to us, That's taking empathy to the next level. Empathy is saying, oh, I understand why you might be feeling that way. Attunement is saying, wow, I can feel the pain in your system. It feels like this. I totally understand and can feel why that hurts. Right? It's different. All right. So I had a practice. I do a somatic practice like this every day with myself. I sit in meditation. I tune into what's moving and alive. And I sit wherever it's not. And I offer it attention, connection, the type of touch that it's desiring. Sometimes things open immediately, a lot of times. And some wounds that are deeper need more time. And I don't force them. But I am in this practice of allowing my system to reveal to me what is wanting attunement. And whatever it reveals to me that day or in that sit is what I focus on. And the more you do this in your own system, right, the more integration and restoration you'll have, and the more skillfully you'll be able to do it for another. But again, if your system is not open and clear and restored, your perception is going to be skewed. So something to pay attention to. Great. So before the next class and the next training, which is going to be on energy healing, and again, taking this type of attunement and presence to being able to create energetic transformation, I want you to sit with this practice some more. I want you to be inside your own system. Into me, I see. I want you to develop your intimacy right inside yourself so that you can begin to give it outside. Beautiful. All right, I'll see you for our next teaching and transmission on energy healing. Thanks for tuning in.